Do you know why your money keeps disappearing? Why every time you get close to a breakthrough, something pulls you back? Why opportunities that should have been yours ended up going to someone else? I am going to tell you something today that most people will never hear in their entire lives. There are 3 specific signs that God is actively blocking your money, and He is doing it on purpose. Not because He hates you, not because you are cursed, but because you are violating spiritual laws that have been in place for over 3,000 years. I have spent the last 40 years studying the Torah, the Talmud, and the deepest teachings of Kabbalah. My grandfather was a rabbi in Jerusalem, and his grandfather before him. 5 generations of rabbis in my family, and every single one of them understood something that the modern world has completely forgotten. Wealth is not random. Poverty is not random. There is a system, and if you are broke right now, it is because you are working against that system without even knowing it. By the end of this video, you will know the 3 exact signs that God is using to block your prosperity, and more importantly, you will know how to remove those blocks permanently. But the 3rd sign I'm going to share with you is the most dangerous one. It is the one that 90% of people are guilty of right now, and it is the reason entire families stay poor for generations. So stay with me until the end, because what I reveal in that 3rd sign could be the single most important thing you hear this year. Let me take you back to when I was 19 years old. I was living in a small apartment, barely making enough to eat, and I was angry. I was angry at God, angry at the world, angry at my situation. One evening during Sukkot, I sat with my grandfather in his study. The room smelled like old books and candle wax. He looked at me, and he could see the frustration on my face. He told me something that night that changed the entire direction of my life. He said that the Creator never blocks a man's wealth without a reason, and that the reason is always a lesson the man refuses to learn. That hit me like a lightning bolt. I had been blaming everyone and everything for my financial struggles. My boss, the economy, my lack of connections. But my grandfather was telling me that the block was coming from above, and it was coming because I was ignoring something. He then opened the Talmud to a specific passage and showed me a teaching that explained exactly how wealth flows in the spiritual dimension. He told me that money is energy, and energy follows specific laws. If you align with those laws, wealth flows to you naturally. If you violate them, it does not matter how hard you work, the money will never stay. I spent the next 3 years applying what he taught me. By the time I was 22, I had more money than anyone in my family had ever seen. And I did not get lucky. I did not inherit anything. I simply stopped blocking what was already trying to come to me. That is when I knew this was not just philosophy. This was real. The Talmud teaches in Tractate Shabbat that 40 days before a child is formed, a voice from heaven declares how much wealth that soul will have. Your wealth is already decreed. I need to stop here for a moment. What I'm about to share changed my life, and it's already changing thousands of others. I've put everything into the Jewish Money Code, 3 complete books with all the rituals, prayers, and ancient principles that wealthy Jewish families have protected for generations. This isn't just a video. This is the beginning. If you want the complete system, the link is in the description and pinned in the first comment. It is already assigned to you. The question is not whether God wants you to have money. The question is whether you are blocking what He is trying to give you. The ancient rabbis understood this at a level that modern economics cannot even begin to touch. They discovered that the spiritual dimension operates on specific principles, and they encoded those principles into practices that anyone can follow. Write in the comments right now the words, "I receive," because that declaration alone begins to shift the energy around your finances. Now let me tell you what is really happening in your life right now, because I know exactly what you are going through. You are working hard, maybe harder than anyone around you. You wake up early, you stay up late, you sacrifice things that other people take for granted. And yet, at the end of the month, there is nothing left. Or worse, you are in debt. You look around, and you see people who seem to do half the work you do, living twice the life. And it makes no sense. I know because I have sat across from thousands of people just like you. Doctors, business owners, teachers, engineers, people who are not lazy, who are not stupid, who are doing everything the world tells them to do. And they are still struggling. Here is why the conventional methods fail you. The first thing people try is working more hours. They take a second job, they hustle, they grind. But the Talmud teaches that it is not the labor that creates the wealth, but the blessing within the labor. You can work 20 hours a day, and if the spiritual channel is blocked, that work produces nothing lasting. The second thing people try is education. They go back to school, they get certifications, they read business books, and knowledge is important. I'm not dismissing it. But knowledge without spiritual alignment is like planting seeds in poisoned soil. Nothing grows no matter how good the seed is. The third thing people try is copying what wealthy people do. They mimic habits, they follow investment trends, they buy courses, but they are copying the visible behavior without understanding the invisible foundation. Jewish families did not become successful by accident. They succeeded because they understood the spiritual infrastructure underneath physical wealth. The lie you have been told your entire life is that money is purely a physical game, that if you just work hard enough, save enough, invest wisely enough, you will be rich. I have studied these teachings for over 4 decades, and I can tell you with absolute certainty that this is only half the truth. The physical actions matter, yes, but they are the smaller half. The larger half is spiritual, and Jewish people understood this thousands of years ago. The Talmud in Tractate Nida teaches that wealth and poverty are not determined by a person's intelligence or effort alone, but by their alignment with divine will. That is the core principle. Alignment. When you are aligned, money flows to you in ways that seem miraculous to everyone else. When you are out of alignment, money runs from you no matter what you do. The ancient rabbis codified this into specific, actionable practices that anyone can follow, regardless of their background or religion. Everything I am teaching you in this video is only the beginning. I have to pause here because thousands of you have already downloaded the Jewish Money Code collection, and the messages I'm receiving are incredible. People paying off debt, attracting unexpected money, finally breaking the cycle of poverty. These 3 books contain everything: the rituals, the prayers, the mindset shifts, the daily practices, the complete system. The link is waiting for you in the description. Every day you wait is another day stuck in the same patterns. Now, let me share the most powerful secret. If you are serious about applying these ancient Jewish wealth principles to your life, I wrote a book called The Ancient Wealth Code. It contains the complete system, all 10 principles that Jewish families have used for 3,000 years to build, protect, and pass down wealth from generation to generation. This is not theory. This is the exact playbook. It is available right now in the description below and pinned in the first comment. Go get your copy today, because knowledge without action is worthless. Now let me tell you about the types of transformations I have personally witnessed when people finally understand and remove these blocks. I have seen people go from bankruptcy to building businesses worth millions within 2 years. I have seen single mothers who could not pay rent suddenly receive opportunities that changed everything. I have seen men in their 60s who had given up on ever being prosperous discover a new stream of income that exceeded everything they had earned in their entire careers combined. And every single one of them followed the exact method I am about to teach you. Here is the first sign that God is blocking your money on purpose: repeated, unexpected losses. I'm not talking about normal life expenses. I'm talking about a pattern. Your car breaks down the same week you get a bonus. You finally save up a cushion, and then a medical bill wipes it out. You invest in something, and it collapses. You get a raise, and then your rent goes up by almost the exact same amount. If this pattern keeps happening to you, it is not bad luck. The Talmud calls this middah keneged middah, measure for measure. The universe is responding to something you are doing or something you are failing to do. When I was 20, this was happening to me constantly. Every time I got ahead, something knocked me back down. My grandfather explained that this pattern is actually a mercy from God. He said the Creator blocks your money when the money would harm you. Sometimes we are not spiritually ready to handle wealth. Sometimes our character has a flaw that money would amplify. Greed, arrogance, selfishness. God sees that if he lets the money through right now, it would destroy you. So he blocks it, not to punish you, but to protect you. The question is, what is the flaw he is asking you to fix? In my case, it was arrogance. I thought I deserved wealth because I was smart. I thought my intellect entitled me to prosperity, and that attitude was the very thing blocking it. The moment I humbled myself and acknowledged that everything comes from the Creator, the pattern of unexpected losses stopped. Within 60 days, my financial situation completely reversed. If you are experiencing repeated unexpected losses, here is what you need to do. First, examine your character honestly. Ask yourself what trait you would be ashamed to show your grandfather. That is probably the one God is pointing at. Second, begin each morning by saying out loud that everything you have and everything you will receive comes from the Creator. This is not just words. This is a spiritual technology that realigns your energy with the source of all wealth. Third, give 10% of whatever you receive to someone in need before you spend a single coin on yourself. The Talmud teaches in Tractate Tanit that tithing is the one area where God actually invites you to test him. He says, give and watch what happens. This is the only area in all of Scripture where God says, go ahead and test me. The second sign that God is blocking your money is broken relationships around money. Pay attention to this. If every business partnership you enter falls apart, if friends and family members keep betraying you financially, if people owe you money and never pay it back, if you constantly fight with your spouse about finances, this is a sign. The Talmud teaches in Tractate Bava Metzia some of the most detailed financial ethics in human history. The ancient rabbis understood that money is a relationship, not just a number. How you treat people in financial matters is a direct reflection of your spiritual state, and God watches this more closely than almost anything else. I went through a period in my 30s where every business deal I touched turned toxic. Partners lied to me, clients refused to pay, investments went sour because of people I trusted. I was convinced the world was full of dishonest people. But when I brought this to my teacher, an elderly Kabbalist in Safed, he asked me a question that shook me. He asked me to think about whether I had been completely honest in every financial dealing I had ever made. And when I was truly honest with myself, the answer was no. There were times I had cut corners, times I had charged more than something was worth, times I had been less than transparent. Not big things by the world's standards, but God does not grade on a curve. The principle of middah keneged middah means that whatever energy you put into financial relationships is exactly what comes back to you. If you cheat even a little, cheating comes back to you multiplied. If you are generous and honest, generosity and honesty come back to you multiplied. To fix this, you need to do something that most people find incredibly difficult. You need to go back and make right any financial wrong you have committed. If you owe someone money, pay them. If you overcharge someone, refund the difference. If you took credit for work someone else did, acknowledge it. The Talmud teaches that repentance for sins between people is not complete until you have made it right with the person you wronged. God will not forgive what you did to another person, until that person forgives you first. This is hard. I know it is hard. But the moment I started making things right with people I had wronged financially, even in small ways, the floodgates opened. Deals started working. People started paying what they owed. New opportunities appeared from directions I never expected. The spiritual blockage was removed because I removed the cause. Now, everything I have shared with you today is powerful, but I want to be honest with you. This is just a fraction of the complete system. In the ancient wealth code, I lay out all 10 principles step by step, principle by principle. What you have learned in this video is 3 of those 10 principles. The remaining 7 go even deeper, and some of them are the most transformative teachings I have ever shared. The link is in the description and pinned in the first comment. If this video has opened your eyes, the book will change your life. The 3rd sign is the most important one, and it is the one I warned you about at the beginning. This is the sign that keeps entire families poor for generations, and almost nobody talks about it. The 3rd sign that God is blocking your money on purpose is ingratitude. I do not mean you are a rude person. I do not mean you forget to say thank you when someone holds a door. I mean deep, spiritual ingratitude, the kind that lives in your subconscious, the kind that makes you focus on what you do not have instead of what you do have, the kind that makes you compare your life to others and feel bitter. The Talmud teaches in Pirkei Avot that the rich person is the one who is happy with their portion. This is not a cute motivational quote. This is a spiritual law with real consequences. When you are ungrateful for what you have, you are telling God that what He gave you is not good enough. And when you tell God that His gifts are not good enough, He stops sending more. Why would He? You did not appreciate the last ones. I see this everywhere right now. And look at what is happening in the world today. The global economy is shaking. Markets are volatile. People are terrified about inflation, about job losses, about artificial intelligence replacing their careers. Just this year alone, major companies have laid off tens of thousands of workers. The cost of living keeps climbing while wages stay flat. And what is the response most people have? Complaining, fear, bitterness, anger. They look at what they are losing instead of what they still have. And that energy of ingratitude creates a spiritual vacuum that sucks wealth right out of their lives. I went through this myself after my first major financial success. I had built something incredible, and instead of being grateful, I immediately started wanting more. I compared myself to people who had more than me. I felt like what I had accomplished was not enough, and within 18 months, I lost nearly everything. Not because of bad investments or a market crash, but because my ingratitude had created a spiritual blockage so severe that money literally could not stay in my life. My grandfather had warned me about this. He said that gratitude is the currency of heaven. When you pay heaven with gratitude, heaven pays you with abundance. When you stop paying, heaven stops sending. To fix this, and I mean truly fix it, not just put a bandage on it, you need to implement a daily practice of radical gratitude. Every morning before your feet touch the ground, say the Modeh Ani. This is a prayer that Jewish people have said for thousands of years. The moment you wake up, before you check your phone, before you think about your problems, you thank the Creator for returning your soul to you. You acknowledge that you are alive, that you have been given another day, that this day is a gift. Then throughout the day, every time something good happens, no matter how small, acknowledge it. You found a parking spot. Acknowledge it. Your child smiled at you. Acknowledge it. You had food to eat today. Acknowledge it. You think these things are small and insignificant, but they are not. Each acknowledgement is a deposit into your spiritual account. And when that account is full, God opens the channels of wealth because He knows you will appreciate what comes through. The specific practice I teach is this. Get a small notebook. Every night before bed, Write down 10 things you are grateful for from that day. They can be as simple as the sun was warm on my face, or as significant as I received a new opportunity. Do this for 30 consecutive days without missing a single day. By day 7, you will notice your perspective shifting. By day 14, you will start seeing small financial improvements. By day 30, your entire relationship with money will be transformed. I have seen this work thousands of times. It never fails when done with sincerity. The key word is sincerity. You cannot fake gratitude. God knows the difference between words and genuine feeling. You have to actually feel thankful. And if you do not feel thankful right now, start by being thankful that you are watching this video, because most people will never have access to this wisdom. Now let me share a deeper principle that connects all three of these signs together. In Kabbalah, there is a concept called the Tzimtzum. It refers to the divine contraction, the idea that God contracted his infinite light to make space for the physical world to exist. This principle applies to wealth as well. Sometimes God contracts abundance from your life to make space for something greater to emerge. The contraction is not the punishment. The contraction is the preparation. Think of it like a bow and arrow. The arrow has to be pulled backward before it can fly forward. If you are in a season of financial contraction right now, it might be because God is pulling you back to launch you further than you have ever gone. But you have to cooperate with the process. You have to fix the character flaw he is pointing at. You have to heal the broken financial relationships. You have to cultivate genuine gratitude. When you do all three, the contraction ends and the expansion begins. I lived this cycle multiple times in my own life. Every period of struggle was followed by a period of exponential growth, but only when I addressed what God was showing me during the struggle. The people who stay stuck are the ones who resist the lesson. They complain about the contraction instead of learning from it. They blame external circumstances instead of looking inward. And so the contraction continues, sometimes for years, sometimes for decades, sometimes for an entire lifetime. Do not let that be you. You are watching this video for a reason. The fact that you are here, right now, listening to these words is not a coincidence. The Creator guided you here because you are ready to hear this. You are ready to change. You are ready to remove the blocks and step into the abundance that was decreed for you before you were even born. Let me also tell you what I have witnessed with my own eyes over the last 4 decades of teaching these principles. I have watched people who were drowning in debt apply these 3 corrections and within months see complete turnarounds. I am not talking about small improvements. I am talking about people whose entire financial reality shifted. They did not win the lottery. They did not get a massive inheritance. They simply removed the spiritual blocks, and the wealth that was already assigned to them finally had a clear channel to flow through. They simply trusted the ancient wisdom and followed the instructions exactly as I gave them. The ones who failed were the ones who picked and chose. They would fix the gratitude issue, but ignore the broken relationships. Or they would tithe, but continue being arrogant. You cannot pick one and ignore the others. All 3 must be addressed simultaneously because they are interconnected. Your character affects your relationships. Your relationships affect your gratitude. Your gratitude affects your character. It is a cycle, and you have to fix the entire cycle, not just one part of it. And look at why this matters right now more than ever. We are living in a time of unprecedented economic uncertainty. Central banks around the world are making decisions that affect billions of people. The gap between the wealthy and everyone else is growing wider every single day. Technology is changing industries overnight. People are losing jobs they thought were secure forever. In the middle of all this chaos, the ancient principles I am teaching you are your anchor. They do not change with the economy. They do not fluctuate with the market. They are eternal laws that have worked for 3,000 years and will work for 3,000 more. When everything around you is chaos, these principles are your foundation. Let me bring this all together for you. Sign number 1. Repeated unexpected losses means God is pointing at a character flaw, usually arrogance or entitlement, that you need to fix before he can trust you with more. Sign number 2. Broken financial relationships means your dealings with people are out of alignment and you need to make things right before new blessings can flow. Sign number 3. Ingratitude means you are telling God that what he has given you is not enough, and he is waiting for you to appreciate it before he sends more. You now have the exact diagnosis and the exact prescription. This is not theory. This is practical, proven wisdom that has been tested across thousands of years and millions of lives. You are not weak for seeking this knowledge. In fact, you are doing exactly what the wisest people in history have always done. You are going to the ancient sources. You are looking beyond the surface. You are seeking the invisible laws that govern the visible world. The Talmud teaches that the Creator helps those who help themselves. You are helping yourself right now by learning this. The only question is, what will you do with it? You have 2 choices. You can close this video and go back to doing what you have always done, working harder, hoping for luck, wondering why nothing changes. Or you can apply these 3 corrections starting today, starting right now, and watch what happens over the next 30 days. I already know what will happen because I have seen it thousands of times, but you have to experience it for yourself. I do want to give you a serious warning before I close. Do not use this knowledge with wrong intentions. Do not seek wealth so you can dominate others or feed your ego. The Talmud teaches that wealth given to someone with bad intentions becomes a curse, not a blessing. The same money that can build schools, feed families, and create jobs can also destroy relationships, corrupt character, and ruin lives. The difference is the intention behind it. Keep your intentions pure. Seek wealth so you can provide for your family, help your community, and fulfill your purpose. If your intention is pure, the blessings will come with protection attached. If your intention is corrupt, whatever you receive will eventually be taken from you in ways far more painful than poverty. If you found value in what I shared today, subscribe to this channel. Every week, I share ancient Jewish wisdom about wealth, success, and spiritual alignment. These are secrets that most rabbis will not teach publicly, and I make them available here for free because I believe this wisdom should not be locked behind closed doors. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video. Leave a comment below telling me which of the 3 signs resonated with you the most. I read every single comment, and your answer will help me create content that serves you better. Share this video with someone you love who is struggling financially right now. You might be the messenger God is using to change their life. And hit the like button because it helps this video reach more people who desperately need to hear this wisdom. I want to close with a blessing for you. May the Creator open every channel of abundance that has been blocked in your life. May unexpected provision find you this week. May your relationships be healed and your dealings be blessed. May gratitude fill your heart so completely that there is no room for lack or fear. May you walk in clarity, act with wisdom, and receive with humility. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are a co-creator with the divine. The wealth that was assigned to you before you were born is still waiting for you. Remove the blocks, trust the ancient wisdom, and watch what the Creator does in your life. Use these ancient secrets wisely. Shalom.